On August 5th, I was woken up by London Police Services pointing an assault rifle in my face at my home. When I was woken up by police officers and saw the assault rifle pointed at me, I thought I was going to die. I feel traumatized. I just want everyone to know what happened and to ask for help so I can seek justice for what happened to me. This is one of the property bags returned to me after I was released from custody. All of the property bags returned to me have Roberts written on them. When I changed my name, I took my mother's maiden name. My last name has not been Roberts in over 10 years. The only reason that Roberts is on the property bags is because I was booked under my dead name. During the arrest, the police officer referred to me by my dead name. I was booked in the station under my dead name. The police, when talking to my mother, referred to me as her son. The fact that a fake email led to London Police Services booking me under my dead name reveals the prejudice that many police have towards transgender people. This is despite the fact that the email contained my real name before ever even mentioning my dead name.
The narrative set forth by the initial video was one of terror and transphobia. Sorrenti claimed several times that she had awoken to police services pointing an assault rifle at her face, and that the police engaged in transphobia multiple times against her for no reason other than the prejudice they have towards transgender people. She claimed that she felt traumatized in her closing remarks. Sorrenti made several claims in that video that would slowly mutate over the following days and weeks. The London police chief, Steve Williams, put out a statement clarifying some of the accusations made by Sorrenti. Despite her initial media blitz on the 9th, which included an entire press kit linked in a Google Drive beneath her GoFundMe video, Sorrenti has not responded to CBC's request for comment on Williams' statement regarding her arrest. Responding officers conducted the initial inquiries which culminated their attendance at Ms. Sorrenti's residence. Officers did not conduct what is sometimes referred to as a dynamic entry into Ms. Sorrenti's residence. Rather, they knocked on the door, announced themselves as police officers, and occupants answered. Any attempt by uninvolved third parties to suggest otherwise is inaccurate and irresponsible. Ms. Sorrenti was arrested for uttering threats based on information officers had at the time. Ms. Sorrenti was polite and cooperative.
People were trying to say this was not swatting because they did not do a dynamic entry, meaning they didn't break down the door and rush in, which I never said they did. They did not go into my apartment until after I was in custody and they had a search warrant signed.
They actually had to go inside the apartment, like in our front foyer, almost right to our bedroom door. And they yelled at Clara while she was in bed. So she got up. They were saying, Clara Sorrenti. Note that they did not use her dead name at this point either. And she had been totally asleep. She got up and came out of the bedroom door frame. And at that point, she saw a rifle pointed at her. She had been awake she was woken by the barking orders of a police officer. And so, yeah, someone did not wake her with a rifle pointed 3 inches from her face.
So someone did not wake her with a rifle pointed 3 inches from her face. Right after, there's also a claim that they had a gun directly pointed at her within seconds of waking up, but that she also had time to put on some pajamas that were on the floor before she exited her bedroom. So that's where the claim was finally walked towards from the original claim of, I was woken up by London Police Services pointing an assault rifle at my face. On the August 11th police statement, the chief said, at no time while she was in our holding cells did members of our police services address Ms. Sorrenti by her dead name. Alex says in the initial breach that they didn't use her dead name. Later on, Sorrenti would say,
the allegations as to how Ms. Sorrenti was addressed during her time in London police custody, using an incorrect name, her dead name, and gender. It's important that he said, well, I cannot confirm any conversations which might have transpired during Ms. Sorrenti's initial arrest. And that's when it happened. The activity in the holding cells is monitored. And I never made a statement about any bad things that happened while I was in custody. I would absolutely assume that when the police know that these things are being recorded and can be part of public record, they would be more careful with how they go about their business.
Notice the implication then, well, when they know they're being recorded, they're going to act properly. But Alex said earlier when they initially breached, they didn't use her dead name. So I guess part of the confusion is, I don't know where she was actually dead named at, because Alex and her seem to agree that when the police initially breached, no dead name was used. And then when she was in holding, she said that, well, while I was in custody, no dead name was used. She wasn't booked under her dead name, I don't believe. So even though she's saying she was booked in the station under a dead name, she also says, I've never made any statements about bad things that happened while I was in custody. I don't know, kind of weird. Police statement on August 11th. The reference to Ms. Sorrenti's former name appears to stem from the existence of prior police reports. When an individual comes into contact with the police for whatever reason, an entry is made into a records management system using the name provided at this time. Note, dead naming typically refers to using a prior name of a trans person has that is generally associated with their gender assigned at birth. Her former first name was not written on any evidence bags, and no evidence has been given that she was referred to as her prior first name. So she originally claimed that she had to spend thousands of dollars replacing her computers and cell phones. On September 9th, she says,
I eventually got my stuff back in like 3 days and got an apology from the chief of police.
That's nice.
So, yeah, that was really nice. Not nice how they responded to the situation, but I'll take it.
And in a leaked series of Twitter-circled tweets, Keffals reveals that she's using the money to travel around Europe and then returning to Canada after. These were, apparently you can make private tweets in your account that only your circle can see, but she accidentally had this up on stream. I cannot wait to get to my new apartment. I set up a studio. I'm staying in Ireland until the 27th. Then I'm heading to Spain until the 11th. I get my apartment on the 12th. I guess a nice European vacation, but...
People kept asking me why I'm raising the goal when it hits the goal. And the reason why is because... yes, I'm using these funds to move, but more importantly, once I'm safe, the rest of those funds are going to be used for legal expenses. Because I'm not just moving. I'm also taking legal action. I already have one lawyer, and I'm consulting with 2 more. I'm going to get justice for what happened to me.
I think my GoFundMe did end up making like $85,000. I've been seeing people doing discourse about that forever, and I just like, do they understand how much lawyers cost? A 3-day civil trial in Canada is like $60,000.
I didn't know that. That seems like a lot of money.
After it first happened, I was very mad at the police, and I wanted to hold their feet to the fire as much as possible. I wanted to even potentially pursue legal action against them, but they've taken the threat against my life very seriously, and I want to see justice. The thing that they say with this is that I said that this money was for suing the police, which I never did. If you read the full thing, I keep raising it. The reason that I did that in the first place was because I wanted it to be $100,000 from the beginning, but I didn't know if I would get that money. So when it kept coming in, I just kept raising the cap until I got there. I said I started the GoFundMe after being victimized by London Police Service for being a victim of a hate crime, and that I need to move immediately, recoup my losses, and to build a legal fund to protect my rights. I talk about the damages I've received and how my life has been disrupted as that of my fiance.
Keffals is the only Keffal I follow.
And then I updated it saying the original moving goal was met, but the hotel I was staying at while looking for a new place to live was doxxed. I'm now in hiding. I'm keeping the GoFundMe up, but all donations are going directly to my legal fund. I have an apartment for October. I'm moving then. I have it. I've already paid. I'm putting it, like, I'm using the GoFundMe money to pay an entire year in advance. So I used the money to find a place, to contract a security company to keep myself safe, and to hire a lawyer. Did you update the description, or is that the original? Because it's pretty clear. It's like you said on a video for lost revenue, staying safe, place to live, and lawyers. Yeah, that's all I said. I never said that I was going to sue the police. I wanted to be very careful with the language that I used because I don't know exactly what the plan is. I know that I'm eventually going to take legal action in some way or another, but I don't know yet.
Well, if they don't like it, they can just refund their dono. Realistically, if I raise $60,000 off of my community and I do that, and then I say you can refund the donos, there's only going to be like a couple $1,000s of people that'll actually refund. Like, not very many people will. It's the same thing with Keffals GoFundMe. Like, she knows that a ton of people that donated to that GoFundMe are never going to look at it again. Like, even if everybody that was upset about this refunded, it'd probably be a few $1,000s at the most.